You guys can see I'm actually going to refresh my screen right here so you know it's not some kind of a crazy screenshot or anything like that. In the last 30 days alone, over $430,000 in sales. And this is not some crazy complicated thing. To be able to do this for yourself, all you need to know is 3 simple steps. The first step you absolutely need to know is What's up, guys? Welcome back to another exciting video. Today I have one of my best friends and business partner, David Arnett. He's going to be helping out. He's a multi-8-figure Amazon seller. He's going to be walking through the 3 steps of getting started and being successful on Amazon with us. And so what is Amazon FBA?
So Amazon FBA really is just bulk purchasing products. Today we're going to go over a lot more of the private label side. So bulk purchasing products, putting them on Amazon's platform, and using their staff to leverage, a lot of the fulfillment, the returns, the customer service, so that you can focus on the only income producing activity, which is sourcing more product.
Right, and FBA, guys, stands for Fulfillment by Amazon, right? It means that you buy products in bulk, you send them to an Amazon warehouse, and Amazon does all of the hard work. Because, it's not possible to go and fulfill 1,000 product orders yourself.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's possible, but it's definitely not what you want to actually be doing. So today we're going to be talking about how to find home run products, right? Products that have more demand than they have supply, products that you can profitably sell on Amazon, because both David and myself have sold multiple millions of dollars of products on Amazon, and we're gonna walk you through from step 1 all the way to actually profitably starting to make sales. But guys, it's important to understand this is not some new crazy business model, right? This is the same business model that Walmart uses. Yeah, they buy products in bulk, right? And then they bring them to the stores, they sell them individually for a lot more. It's just a better model because you're using the internet and you're using Amazon, and it's an even better model because you don't have to guess, right? You know already what products are selling well, what products are generating a lot of revenue. And so the first thing that we're going to be talking about is step 1, right? Which is how to find profitable products. And so to do that, we're going to be using the software that David and I use to actually find home run products, and it is called Zonbase. And guys, make sure you do stick around until the end of this video because we're going to be giving an exclusive, very, very generous discount that we usually only share with my students, for those of you guys who do hang around with us until the end of the video. And the cool thing about this particular software is it's the only software you need for Amazon, right? It has every single thing that you need to be successful all in one place, all for significantly less than the competition, with more accurate data and awesome tools to go along with that. So this is actually inside of Zonbase, inside of a tool inside Zonbase called Zon Research. So Zon Research is similar to some other product research tools that you might have used in the past, but it has a couple of important differences, right? And so David and I are going to talk about what our favorite actual categories are to sell in, and then what types of filters that we actually like to use to really find some really interesting products that have more demand than they have supply. So what are some of your favorite categories?
Certainly home and kitchen, beauty and health and personal, as well as like sports and outdoors. Those are really the base around most of our business.
Yeah, for sure. And so as me as well, home and kitchen is probably the number one, or definitely the number one category that I've made the most money in. There's a lot of different reasons, right? They're kind of simple products. Oftentimes they're small, non-breakable. There's basically like unlimited numbers of products that you can actually have inside of a kitchen. And so, beauty, personal care, home and kitchen, and sports and outdoors. We're actually going to narrow down all of the categories on Amazon down to just those 3 to show you guys, how you can go about finding some interesting products relatively quickly. You can see that there's additional filters here. So if we open up the advanced filter, the minimum price that I like to look for after all the fees on Amazon to give you like a 40% around profit margin is about $13. And what that means is if you sell the product for under $13, basically what happens is Amazon's fees start to eat into your profit margin, but anything 13 or above, you can still maintain that 40% or higher profit margin that we look for and teach our students to look for as well. The second thing, and probably the most important, is reviews, right? You don't want to compete against a product or a niche that has a bazillion reviews because, think about it for yourself. If you see 2 products and they're the exact same, but one has 10,000 and one has, 50 reviews, you're going to always choose the one with 10,000, assuming that they're actually good reviews. The next thing that we're going to talk about is revenue, right? Revenue is really important. I don't like going and competing with sellers that are selling $1 million months,
Right.
because what happens is those sellers are generally like the bottom feeders of Amazon,
Yeah.
right? Like they'll do all types of like illegal, immoral, unethical sorts of things to get your product shut down, because $1 million a month is a lot of money, right? And so these corporations that have basically unlimited budgets will do a lot of nasty things that you don't want to deal with as a new seller.
Yes.
Right, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna set our revenue, we're gonna set this to a minimum of $9,000 revenue per month and a maximum of $29,000, right? And this is what I like to call the base hit principle. You don't wanna go after products that are home runs, $1 million months, because what's gonna happen is you have to deal with all those nasty guys and nasty sellers that you don't wanna deal with. So once we actually click search, what ZonBase does is it goes out and it searches through over 12 million products in the Amazon catalog to bring you back interesting products, that have all of the criteria that you set, right? A minimum of $13, a maximum of 101 reviews, and revenue per month between $9,000 and $29,000 that match inside of these three categories: beauty, home and kitchen, sports and outdoors. And so what we can see is there's a lot of stuff, like a beard trimmer, right? David could probably use one of these right now, actually. So what would you go through and think when you're looking through these results? Like, what are you looking for?
So I mean, we're looking for stuff that's not huge, high competition. Like you said, like you're really wanting stuff that you don't have to compete with as many multiple high figure type of sellers and corporations. That way you can spend less on your advertising costs, and you can put more towards your growth of the products. One thing I personally also look for that's more of a my personal preference is I look for products that allow variation options. That way you can stack them on top of each other, and therefore you grow your reviews even more, and you grow your sales velocity, which in turn increases your bestseller ranking without actually having it dependent on one specific product. So like to go in stuff with variation options, or at least additional add-on type of bundles available in the future.
Yep. And I'm looking right here. I kind of like this feng shui brass gong for your desktop. What kind of attracts my attention is products that are really random, right? Like the cool thing about ZonBase and a tool like this is I would never in a million years think to myself, okay, you know what, David, we should sell a feng shui brass desktop gong.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But this product you can see right here is selling over 2,000 units a month, only 88 reviews, and $28,000 in monthly revenue, right? Which is awesome. And so a tool like this actually kind of like allows your brain to think outside of what you might, just think of on your own, and show you all of these different types of products, to look a little bit deeper into. So let's actually open up the gong here, because this is like my favorite one that I've seen. And guys, remember, later on we also are going to be talking about PPC, right? So he was talking about bestseller ranking. We're going to go through all of this. This is going to be a little bit longer of a video, but this video alone will make you, from beginner to like an 85-90% of the way there. You can see that, just in this count alone, $192,000 in spend with over 1.3, almost $1.4 million in sales. And we're going to teach you guys how we actually did this, so make sure you stay tuned. So if we go here, we can see that this little feng shui gong guy with all these great pictures, I actually want to type this in, brass gong desktop. So what I like to do is I like to actually find like the main keyword associated with the product, because sometimes what happens is if you're using any product research tool, what happens is sometimes you see like an outlier, right?
Yeah.
Like one product that has really good stats that looks really good from all the data, but then if you actually type in the main keyword associated, sometimes you'll see that other products on page one have like thousands of reviews and stuff like that. So it's usually smart, if not always smart, to actually find the main keyword associated. In this particular case, it would be brass gong desktop, right? And you can see that there's actually a number of different products here, but many of them have 29 reviews, 22 reviews, 10 reviews, right? 2 reviews. So if we actually run the ZonBase Chrome extension, what we're going to see is we can actually see the exact statistics about all of these products right here in our screen. So we can see that a lot of these products, other than the one that we were looking at just now, now have only, $200 in revenue, $1,000 in monthly revenue. So what we would think is, this is not enough, right? There's not enough actual monthly revenue. And like we just said, right, that was probably an outlying product. So that wouldn't be a product we were probably interested in. But if we keep scrolling, right, we can see that, right now what's happening in the world is the coronavirus. Right? And so what you see is Amazon reacts to that, right? Because Amazon is a massive, massive business, and so the economy affects it, and vice versa. So I bet you that an air filtration mask right now is actually like trending and making a lot of sales. So if we take the main keyword here, air filtration mask, and we actually type this into Amazon in all departments, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look down here, right? And we see pack of 300, pack of 200, we see a bunch of different air filtration masks. And if we run the handy dandy Zon-based Chrome extension, what we can see is, this particular product, 9 reviews, $24,000 a month, right? $6,000 a month, $48,000, $10,000, $20,000. So this would definitely be a product that we're more interested in. And if we were running this product, I know what I would do is I would probably put coronavirus somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Because people are probably typing in like mask for coronavirus, like filtration, like mask for sickness, like all of these different types of words. And if you can rank your listing for those particular words, then you can actually get in front of tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or millions of people, if you actually know what you're doing. And so once we've actually found a product that we might be interested in, like an air filtration mask or a surgical mask or a mask for sickness or whatever you want to call it, step 2 is actually going about finding that product. So how would you actually go about doing that?
So I would just start looking primarily at Alibaba, just because it's like the base of the international database in China of products. So really your first step is going there and starting to just manually search for it. There are some other tips and tricks that we can kind of go into.
Yep, so if we actually come to Alibaba.com, it's the largest manufacturing index, right, where you can search for all the manufacturers. And wherever you are, wherever you're watching from right now, I promise you something in your general vicinity was probably made on Alibaba.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like your chair, your computer, because they literally make everything.
It's the Amazon for suppliers, pretty much in China. Which is the largest the largest area in the world, so it's pretty massive.
So if we actually type in a couple of things here like anti-flu, sick, face mask, surgical doctor, mouth, face mask when sick, for pharmacy with active carbon. I love these. But what you can see is you can find these for 2 cents a piece or even less than 1 cent per piece. But if we come back, we can see that these people are selling them on Amazon for 33 cents each, right? $99.97 for 300. So if you're selling them for 33 cents each, you're buying them for less than a cent each, right? All of a sudden you're making 33 times more than what you're actually spending. And when you take advantage of trends like right now with the coronavirus and things like that, right? We know personal friends of ours who've bought 40
something thousand
dollars worth of surgical masks to take advantage of this trend. And the only way you can do that is by knowing what to look for, knowing how to interpret the data and use tools like Zonbase. So what are some tips that you like to look for on Alibaba when you're selecting a supplier?
Well, it depends on the particular product. Like the one that we chose, it's not something specifically that we're looking at, like a specific type of material compared to just filtering out the difference in what particular options there are. If it's something that's more based upon, I like to base upon specific features. So on more quality products, the bigger way to go separate yourself from the competition is look at the specific features that it would provide.
Yeah. And so I like to do actually a very similar thing. When I'm trying to source a product, what I'll do is, and let's take an example here, what I'll do is I'll look at one of the products that's already selling, and I'll look at the negative reviews about it, right? So you can come in here into a product, go to the negative reviews, click the 1 stars, and then you can look for patterns, right? Like this one says they didn't put a tag fastener, it didn't work, right? It was okay, I found a hole in it. So you can find patterns with the negative things that people are actually saying about a particular product. And then when you're actually contacting the manufacturer, what you can do is you can say, okay, but I need to make sure that X, Y, and Z are improved, right? Because how I'm gonna differentiate is actually having a better overall, mask or whatever type of product you're actually sourcing. And so the last thing that I kind of want to talk about suppliers, and before we move on to the next step, is I like to look for suppliers that have a lot of transactions, right? So if I was gonna choose one of these, I probably wouldn't choose the person who only has $9,000 when I see somebody else that has 130, 60, 540,000, right? It just means that they've generally done a lot more business. They've been in business for 3 years versus less time, 2 years for that one, 1 year here. I like to look for the people who've been around for a while and done a lot of volume. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is how to actually build a listing on Amazon. So let's take another example here. Like we could do like a pizza stone, right? So there's a lot of different actual businesses here. We can see that this guy, let's take a look at his listing, right? Because what I like to look for is big, nice, product bullets here with like very prominent product features. So this is a type of listing that I would say is not done particularly well, right? So let's go back and I'm actually going to go to a different listing that I know actually looks good. So let's do binoculars for bird watching. So if we open up one of these listings, what we can see is a big, beautiful, prominent HD picture that features the product very nicely. We can also see that they have a lot of very common keywords that people are typing in, right? Compact binoculars with low light night vision, large eyepiece, high power, right? These are probably common complaints that people have. They say that, I want a pair of binoculars that has large eyepieces, right? That has low light night vision, that has all of these things, right? Which is why this person and this listing includes outdoor hunting, bird watching, traveling, sightseeing, fit for adults and kids, because a lot of times people will type binoculars for kids, or binoculars for traveling, or sightseeing, or bird watching, which is why they're stuffing all of those keywords into the title, because the title actually has the most weight when you are creating a listing.
Correct.
Right? Down here as well, you can see that they have nice benefit features about the product in all capitals, right? High-powered, large eyepiece binoculars, adjustable eye cups, fit eyeglass wearers or not, right? And so what I like to do is I don't like to reinvent the wheel. If I was gonna sell a pair of binoculars for bird watching, I would go find the best product listing, right? And what's the best product listing? The one that's ranking organically first, right? And then I would reverse engineer why that product is actually first. Generally, a lot of the times it has to do with the images, the title, and the bullets, right? The last thing would be the product description, which you can see down here. But the product description, right, most people don't even read, to be honest. It's mostly for the Amazon machine. But we wanna show you guys kind of how this actually looks on the back end inside of what's called Seller Central, which is the tool that you can actually create an Amazon account in. So we can see that right here under Vital Info, you can see the product name, right? This is the same exact thing that shows up like we were talking about right here. The product name and the title are the same thing. So what we can do is if we wanted to change it, all we would do is suggest a change, goes to the product catalog team, and boom, it's done. We can also select our images right here, our description, like we talked about before, with the key product features, right? The key product features are each of these bullets that you see right here. The product description, like we talked about before, is down here in the product description, and it all is, very much so as simple as it kind of seems. You can also see that you can set what's called search terms, right? Search terms are what you tell Amazon the product is related to, right? So when somebody actually searches a specific thing, then they might come about your product. But David has a cool tip that he likes to do, for another product that we've sold in the past, which is a dog collar, right?
Yeah, yes. So for example, whenever I am doing my specific products, like as far as the back-end keywords, I think of like user bases inside of that particular product. So for example, on the dog collar, like in my main listing, I would go into the more broader type of keywords, but on the back end, my search terms would be like all the breeds of dogs, so like Chihuahua, Doberman, Jack Russell. And what that does is where everyone else is missing that, because it doesn't make sense to stuff that in the actual product listing side, where nobody else has that. We get that extra little surge when someone's looking for, dog collar for Chihuahuas or dog collar for Jack Russells, etc.
Right. I guess most people aren't going to type what you might think they would type, right? Like most people are going to type like extra small Chihuahua dog collar for my loving Chihuahua or something, right? And by putting these extra keywords that other people might not think about, your product is going to show up in the algorithm when their product might not actually show up. And so there's a couple of cool ways to actually do this for you inside of ZonBase. So let's say that, for example, we're selling like a scratch off map, right? A product that I've sold in the past. If we click search, what ZonBase is gonna do is they're actually gonna go out, show you a trend score, show you a word cloud, other types of products, or other types of terms that people might be searching for, and then it's gonna show you all of the different words that people are typing into Amazon that are leading to sales of scratch off maps, right? Scratch off map of the world, scratch off map, scratch off travel map, right? Map of the world, bubble wrap calendar, right? All of these different terms that you might not be thinking about that you do want to actually include somewhere in your listing, or especially somewhere inside of your PPC, which we're going to be talking about in a second. My favorite way to actually do this is to just find the product that's ranking first, right? So if we actually typed in scratch off map into Amazon, we're going to ignore all these sponsored posts right here, and we're going to click on the one that's ranking organically first. Right, we're going to take the actual URL here, come back into ZonBase, and we're going to put it into what's called reverse ASIN. What this does is it actually goes out and it analyzes this whole listing, and it tells you all of the different keywords that this product is ranking first for, right, on page 1 for that particular keyword. And so if the number one best product listing Amazon is telling you is best is ranking first for something, we want to make sure that we include it in our listing, we include those words in our listing, and we include it inside of our marketing, right, inside of our PPC, which stands for pay per click. Right, and so let's actually jump into PPC, and we'll show you guys how we're able to get such a crazily low ACoS. 13.8% is a very, very good advertising cost of sales. I kind of like to think about ACoS as profit, right? Like if your profit margin is 40%, if you get an ACoS of 13.8, you make everything in between that.
Correct, and not to even mention that this is just the sales that come from the advertising. So whenever you are actually getting conversions for those keywords, you also get organic search volume that you pay zero for. So, ACoS is very important because you want to have a high velocity but still be able to make money while you're, because that's the whole end game in order to be able to leverage and continue to grow.
And so when you actually go about creating a campaign for, for a particular product, what's kind of your thought process behind it? What's like the lowest hanging fruit, do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, I do a few things, obviously.
Let's actually use a real one. Let's use Pizza Stone. Why don't we?
Yeah, so, there's a couple things. Obviously, I set a auto campaign just to start filtering out some data, but then I don't really base any worry about the auto campaign for another week or two, and then you're just going in and doing your negative keywords, which we won't go into too much. But what he was saying as far as like the lowest hanging fruit that's been amazing for us is really just using the massive amount of data that these type of softwares can actually pull out. And so, the reverse ASIN feature will give you thousands and thousands of keyword results. And so, we actually pull that stuff out and pull it into massive ad campaigns, exact match. And that way, like, if you're exact and I'm broad and all, like, it just, Amazon's like, okay, that's exactly what the customer is looking for because that person, correct. So you get a higher priority. So we don't reinvent the wheel. Use the data that software already pulls out for you from the proven products. And so we just start taking our competition and just massively pulling that data and pulling the data and pulling the data. And then we bulk upload it into multiple manual exact campaigns. We do them extremely low budget. And then every week, Amazon tells you what is not getting impressions. So every week we go and what's not getting impression, we slowly increase it by 5 cents. We slowly increase it by 5 cents. And what this allows you to do is, you can't go off the data that's inside of Seller Central because it's just giving you like what makes Amazon money if you bid for it. Like, so when you're going after these long-tailed keywords that not many other sellers are going after, like go extremely low and slowly increase it for the ones that it's not getting an impression, what that allows you to do is that allows you to get bottom dollar on thousands of long tail keywords instead of going after those 10 to 50 keywords that your whole market share is going after. And that's what raises your ACoS so high, is because you're competing with all the other sellers that think the exact same way of the top 50 search of 1 to 2, keywords.
Right, and basically how I'm interpreting that, and one of the things that we do also is kind of the best profit keywords are generally like the longer tail random keywords, right? If we're selling a pizza stone, for example, if we're only bidding and we're only running campaigns for the word pizza stone, that's going to be super expensive. Everyone else is doing it, and that's not what's going to get us what we want, which is more profit and ranking for more keywords. But I want to actually show you guys how we do this, right? So what we did was we grabbed the #1 organically ranking pizza stone, right? We put it into reverse ASIN. So we're going to export it right here, and now we're actually going to show you guys how to set up PPC campaigns, how David and I generally do it. So if we come into Amazon here and we go into create a campaign, what we're going to do is we are going to actually do sponsored products, right? And I want to talk about how you like to do it, but sponsored products. And we'll just call this one pizza stone. What do you generally like to do for a daily budget?
So, I usually do like 50 to 100, because one thing that we'll go into in a second is that it only allows 1,000. It only allows you to go after 1,000 words, which for most people is more than enough. But when we're exporting thousands, it mitigates it into multiple campaigns, so you really don't need that high of a budget per specific campaign. Now, this is actually the campaign and not the sub, like the ad set. So this one would do something closer to like 150, 200.
All right, let's do 150 for this. So we're gonna do manual targeting, right? Automatic targeting is Amazon actually taking all the keywords in your listing and trying to run profitable PPC campaigns on your behalf, right? I would argue that that's generally for lazy people and is almost never gonna be more profitable than manual.
Absolutely not. The only reason we ever do automatic is to pull other information out, and we run it for a small period of time, and it's solely for data collection for manual targeting campaigns.
Right. Okay, cool. So then what we're going to do is we're going to come into the campaign bidding strategy. Now, I generally like to do campaign bids down only. Do you ever like to use any of the other ones?
No. That's really only good if you're going into the higher velocity type products where we're showing you to go into the lower competition products that you can have a larger market share. There's really not that much volume that you ever need to go up.
Cool. So then what we're going to do is we're going to come back in. We're going to do ad group. We're just going to choose a random product because we don't sell pizza stones in this particular account. And we're going to do keyword targeting, right? What we're going to do is we're going to actually put in enter a list. And now this list that we exported from Zonbase right here, we can see that we just press export. We're going to open this up. This is going to be all of the different keywords that the #1 product actually ranks for, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to take, and do you like to do all 1,000 in one?
Yes, so what we normally do is do 1,000 in every one, and then we have someone go back. It's like the path of least resistance. It takes you a long time to look through every one of those. We'll bulk upload all 1,000, and then we'll go back and just quickly after we create the campaign, we'll go back and inactive stuff that just doesn't make sense.
So I went in and I copied 1,000 keywords here, and we're gonna uncheck broad and phrase, right? So we're just gonna do just exact match, and then what do you like to do as far as bids?
So what I normally do for this particular strategy is I start it around 30 cents, and because this is really for you to get the lowest of the lowest bid price on everything. So once again, we're going very, very low, and then we're letting Amazon's data tell us what needs to be improved. So that's where every week we would then go back and add additional 5 cents to what's not getting enough traffic. Because think from Amazon's side, they're here to make money on the ads, and they make a stupid amount with it. So if you're saying, hey, I'm willing to give you 75 cents, they're going to take 75 cents. So if you say 30 cents and other people aren't going after it, they're going to give you that. And so if you're just slowly increasing what isn't getting the impressions, then that allows you to strategically get bottom dollar, and that's what allows you to keep the lowest ACoS.
So if you have 1,000 keywords in a single campaign, like does it ever happen where just like a few of them get all of the spend and the other ones aren't getting any impressions, or would you say that generally most of them get some?
Mostly, generally everything gets some because you're going so low. So like the ones that would normally take your whole ad spend would be like your extremely high volume keywords. But
right.
So if you're only bidding 30 cents, you may not get impressions for those because someone else or the other 50 sellers selling your particular type of product knows that that's like the high volume stuff, and so they're in bidding wars for like $2 for it.
Right.
So this particular strategy is not focused at all on the top keywords. It's focused. I would rather have 1,000 keywords that only bring a 500 search volume. That's still 500,000 for bottom dollar pricing than I would be competing for the top 10 keywords that's only bring 200,000.
Right, and when people, and a lot of people out there that are trying to learn Amazon, how they do it is they'll go after just the most competitive stuff, right? And they're spending all this money, and all these other people are spending all this money on the most common, highest volume, most obvious stuff. But we're in here actually, putting in clean and green wood and tile, right? King Arthur flour bread. Like, who on earth is typing in King Arthur flour bread?
And this is where we do go through. Like, you'll see some of them are more prominent for this particular type of product. So that's where I said, like, we upload 1,000, then we'll go back through and we'll fine tweak getting it down to 500 that actually makes sense for that particular one. But the good thing about actually pulling it from Zonbase is it is proven that someone actually searched this product and did actually buy that particular product.
Yep.
So, it allows you to just kind of really gamify the system.
Absolutely. And so that, guys, is kind of how we like to do keyword research and launch PPC campaigns. Again, we would go through here, and anything that's like crazy and has nothing to do with it, we would
go to the top. You're at the bottom.
Yeah, we would take it out, because as we go down all the way to the bottom, right, it gets like more and more arbitrary and gets more and more non-related, because remember, it's thousands and thousands of keyword searches. If we come up to the top here, we can see pizza stone for grill, for oven, right, pizza stone rectangle, 18 pizza stone, like if somebody wants a particular size, right, I guarantee you there's like infinitely less people bidding for 18 pizza stove versus just pizza stove. And so if we type this in, we're going to make significantly more at cheaper costs.
And one good thing I do like about it too that nobody thinks about is like misspelled words. Like there's a tremendous amount of so Oaza stone instead of pizza stone. There's a magnificent amount of people that actually search for misspelled words. And you can never just historically think of all that stuff. So like these type of tools will pull out that, and nobody else is actually targeting for the misspelling. So guess who gets every bit of that market share?
And Oitza, right? It makes sense because the O is right next to the P on the keyboard, and people just accidentally type that in all the time. So that, guys, is kind of the 3 steps. Step 1, to reiterate, we use Zonbase, we use Zon Research to find products that have, from home and kitchen, from beauty, from sports and outdoors, $13 as the cheapest price. We like to look for stuff that's between 9 and 29,000 monthly revenue and under 100 average reviews. Once we find a cool product, we come on to Alibaba. We search for that product. We look for an actual supplier that has, that's been in business for years, that's done a lot of actual volume. And then when we're actually doing our keyword research to create our listing and to do PPC, again, we use Zonbase, we use the keyword tool, and we also use reverse ASIN on the best listings that we're going after. And so if you guys want to learn more about this, or you actually want to apply to work directly with David and I, because we're actually choosing a couple exclusive partners to create Amazon stores for you. And I know that might sound hard to believe, but before you go and apply instantly, that is not going to be for everyone, because it does take a significant amount of actual working capital to be able to partner with us and have us build you an Amazon store. There will be a link down in the description called Amazon Automation. And if you guys want to learn more from David specifically, you can just search David Arnett into YouTube, and make sure you guys do go and give him a subscribe as well. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like it, comment down below Amazon FBA tutorial. And if we get 500 comments that say Amazon FBA tutorial, then we will make a brand new video for you guys for all the different strategies that we're using in 2020 to really blow this thing up. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Also, if you like this video and you want more like it, here's a playlist of awesome videos that you should click right now. Click it. Come on, click it. Do it. Click the playlist. Okay, you don't have to, but I promise you'll like it. Click the playlist. See you soon. Peace.